Today we're talking about decluttering and why it matters. Okay, so number one, your space holds your decisions. Every decision you make with your authority, your space holds them. So if your space is cluttered and you have piles different places, if it's not organized, that could mean that you are delaying your decisions, you are avoiding actions, or you're refusing to let go of certain things. That's what clutter can typically indicate, right? Also think about when you have piles of things different places, we know that everything in this life is energy, right? So little atoms rubbing up side by side, that's what everything is comprised of. Energy has a specific unit of measurement, which is hertz, and we can measure the frequency of energy by looking at the sound waves, the oscillations. Everything is energy, even if it looks still. That's a sidebar. With that being said, imagine the things that you have in your space, the piles that you have. If we know everything is energy, that also means certain values have been measured energetically, like fear, doubt, worry, guilt, shame, right? Closed-mindedness. They all have unit measurement. They all have energy frequency. With that being said, if you have these piles different places, if you have not organized your experiences, they can just be there sitting and collecting and promoting this delayed action. So it's important for us to understand how things are operating and working around us. So when we see that the decisions that we make are reflected in everything that we do, including our environments, then we're able to make the appropriate changes. So that energy associated with different piles, it can promote certain types of behaviors without you even knowing, right? Without you even knowing. Or if you do know, you don't even know what to associate it with. Your space holds your decisions. Next, clutter can be associated with mental noise. Okay, so I know a lot of people say they operate in organized chaos. Okay, so I used to also say that as well. Organized chaos in general, just it's not for me. In this point in time in my life, chaos is not for me. Clutter represents mental noise. Then it also shares with us that everything around you is competing for your attention. Again, whether or not you know it or not. Some people say, oh, I thrive in that. I can just numb that out. You think you're numbing it out, and it will show up in another way, a way that's unexpected, a way that you don't know, and maybe you do know, and you just are choosing to live in the way of organized chaos. I'm not saying that people's forms of structures are to be judged, evaluated. Everybody do what works for you. For me, chaos doesn't work, and it's not a form of structure for me. That what I see and how I've utilized organized structure. With that being said, I don't want things to compete for my attention when I'm just existing and sitting there, right? I want to be clear. My inside is reflected in my outside. Clarity. I want to be decisive. I want to know what it is that I'm doing here in this space. This isn't saying that Andy's perfect, that everything around me is always decluttered. No. What it is saying is that because decluttering matters, I spend intentional time decluttering things and purging things from my space that no longer align with who I am. Make your decisions and your authority with ease. So, happy decluttering.